So now, after Gary has sold his business and acquired $27 million, him and his longtime girlfriend, fiance, finally get married 6 months later. Now, they have 3 children and they move from the city of Chicago out near her family, which stays near Arlington Heights, Illinois. And she was closer there. They lived this. I'm sorry, she's from Arlington Heights, but they didn't move there. They moved to Schaumburg, which is not that far away, but it's closer to her family than his family in the city. Now, whenever there's a party or people getting together, they start to have these, parties where everybody can get together and start to share information and keep up with one another. And he started to teach, and he was doing online business courses and doing presentations where he was teaching just business and sales, the marketing, how to approach certain scenarios. And he was at a seminar that had Donald Trump. Da-da! Donald Trump! Trump! Robert Kiyosaki and a lot of these other guys who've gotten involved in commercial real estate and buying property and flipping it, and all of these things that were happening was quite interesting at the time, because here it is, I'm right in the same meeting, and this is how I'm learning about Gary. Gary Gary sits there, he looks up with a smile, and he's like, I'm from the south side of Chicago. And this is how I made it. Very interesting. So 2 years go by, married, got kids, his children, everything's going great. His wife has a great job. She's a senior area manager at a law firm. And next thing you know, out of the blue, like, think 4 years of marriage, 2 children, they start filing for legal separation and headed for divorce. Yep, but something interesting happened here. Now, she's a lawyer, right? Well, she's a senior area manager, whatever, at this law firm. But she's basically a lawyer. She's hanging around all these lawyers, and they're going over a divorce proceeding to protect assets and everything else. Before they got married, she had signed an agreement. He's going to take care of his children, and they're going to co-parent. But she had signed something, and he put something in there that she was unaware of. And it's called no coercion or something like that. Which means she cannot be in a relationship. She cannot be living, or the man can't be living with her. She could date. But if that man's living with her and they and they moving in the same house together and all that stuff, that ain't gonna fly. That voids the alimony. that he would have to pay. I didn't know you could put that in an agreement until I saw that happen. So Gary had that put into the contract when they signed it. She didn't understand what that means. So when she was dating another man and then they started living together, he immediately filed a junction to stop paying her because she's living with another man. His private investigator he hired showed that she was living with this other man. So they was going to court back and forth. She was unaware of it. Her and the man weren't living together. She's trying to say he doesn't live there, he's just visiting me. But we're not serious. Like, we're not made anything official. We just date every now and then, but nothing that would violate those rules. So they got to go to court for that. And every time she does it, he takes her to court. And it annoys her because she's got to take off work from her job to go to these court dates. So it's pissing her off that he's going this route. Now, Gary's a good dude, and he's normally been fair. But she wanted her cake and to eat it too. She got with Gary because, he was ambitious and he kind of had, he had money. But she was there before he got the $27 million. But he was already rich when you met him. He was already a millionaire. So now he's did some business and now he's got $27 million. Now, you're more than happy. But you're thinking all of it's yours. And then you get married and now you want all these things for yourself. Not to say she was a gold digger. She just was ambitious and her ambition was starting to swallow her. So, after filing these junctions with the judge, she made an agreement with him, her lawyers, and she said, look, if you pay my alimony, if you take that out of the proceedings, that that I would say at 66 you don't have to pay my alimony anymore. Give me to 66 and that's it. You don't have to pay my alimony anymore. I'm off your books forever. I will agree to that if you take that out. And he said, fine, 66, you got it. So, until she's 66. Now, the woman is in her 50s now. She's like 57 if we're in the present date. So she's like 57 now. Their kids are grown and, and all of that. Yeah, I just had lost some money. I don't like losing money. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Let me finish the story. So, he agrees. At 66, she's going to be taken care of. Now, she's older than him by like 5-6 years. That's what I'm saying. So, she's already was older than him by 5-6 years. So, this was bound to happen anyway. So now he's divorced. He's got his 2 kids by this woman, and he takes care of his children, everything. He's educating them, and he was teaching about finance. Now, here's the one thing that he was telling them, and he told them a very key secret to building their money. He would never let his kids pay for anything with cash. Always pay with someone else's money. I said, that is weird. He said, think about it. He said, if you have the cash, use the cash to pay off your debts. Pay with a credit card or any type of credit card and pay it off immediately with your debit. Your debit should be used to pay off your cards. That's it. That's all the money is to be used for, is to pay off the card. Put everything you got on the credit cards. Pay with someone else's money. This boosts up your credit score and your rating fast. Then they know that you're a reliable person. You pay everything on time. Over a period of time, your rating is high for high finance of cars, homes, anything you want. Your rating, your credit score rating is very high by doing this process. Now, I'm not saying, like buying Chuli's gum, and then you go in and say, okay, I paid off Chuli's gum, 35 cents. No, I'm talking about like real purchases. Like if you're gonna pay your bill, you say, look, pay it with a credit card. Pay all your bills with a credit card, and then you can use your debit to pay off your credit. So he was always about the economics in the business world of using other people's money. This is how the rich got rich, not by using and spending their money, but using money from other people and other places. That's right, Uncle Frank. So, Gary's taking care of the wife situation. He's doing this seminar, so he's getting money coming in, right? Now, he gets into a situation where his business partner wants to go into this new thing that they got. This project they have. It's like education for children. They make kids toys, and like, this is revolutionary. You see it in stores all the time, but we can make a better product. But the thing was, it was too costly. So he didn't want anything to do with it because of the cost, and the price is too much. He thought the price was way too high for the labor, and said, well, I just feel that a kid, since this is for kids, I don't see the need to compete with these other toys who are making them cheaper. Yes, it's going to perform better, it's going to look better, and I would choose this, but a kid will grab anything. A kid will grab the box it came in. So the company was called Leapfrog, and Leapfrog ended up making millions, but he turned Leapfrog down, and Leapfrog ended up actually working. He was more concerned about the tech world and getting involved more with tech than physical projects. He's seen the tech world and with all these new apps as the way to move and circumvent through the world. And he came up with an idea. He said, well, why am I going to sit there and do all this work to put out a physical, get a warehouse, and do this when I could just get an app, make that app something, and blow that up, and then go. So he decided to put a book or like a info, whatever link or whatever on an app, and take it from there, where you can get all this education, and you can click there, and it's almost like a library card for those who needed to know things in their industry. It was the certain books you would need. So he made that accessible via app, where you can click on it, read it, and you subscribe for $5.99 and all these different things. The hire the textbook. So people wanted to see the pages in the book and go through them and scroll through. So the website actually helped him out, but the promotion for it, because people didn't know what it was. They had no marketing for it. So he realized man, if I had the marketing, this would have took off. But he didn't have a clue on how to market. So he just knows sales. So Gary had to learn real fast that, okay, this is a different world than what I'm used to. But I'm not going to back down. So he became a investor in these apps and said, I need to move. I can't stay in Chicago anymore. Chicago's just not the outlet to support my apps. They don't care about education. They just want smut. Girls shaking their butt on the internet and all that. He's there to offer life-changing information. So he's like, I can't get involved. So he moves from here, moved to California. As soon as Gary gets to California, he posts up, he gets an office, sets up a hub, and start going to work. Now, people are coming to him with ideas, saying, man, a couple of tech guys down here don't really have a place to stay. It's kind of expensive. If you was to rent this place out, the guy was like, people would pay you rent, and then that would cover your rent for the place. So the studio or the office became like a hub for a bunch of tech guys. 3 tech guys was living in this small office, laying up in his room. This guy's a multi-millionaire, and he got these guys laid up in his office. And Gary's not the type that was flashy. He stayed low-key no matter what. And the man never touched drugs. To me, he was a remarkable example of what a man should be. Somebody who could hustle and to where he had to do and go from there. So while he's working on his apps, and he got all these tech guys in there sleeping in there, things began to change. You had 6 to 7 different people come around, and when they came around, all they could think about and talk about was, oh, this is gonna be a great day. We have this going on, we have that going on, and that's just how it is, man. This is gonna be great. And one of them created an app that winded up being leading to the technology that we have today. And the technology they had was entirely different. That technology this guy came up with, where it actually was supposed to monitor your heart while you exercise. That was the main purpose of it. Supposed to monitor your heart while you're running. But then, to do that, it also was tracing your steps. Because they already had a heart monitoring machine. Like, they already had a machine that did that. So they wanted to have another machine to do something else. And that was the heart monitoring machine. And they was like, oh, well, we already have that. They got that in every exercise gym you ever been to. You put the thing on your fingertip and you run, and it measures your heartbeat, tell you how fast you're going. But the guy said, yeah, but you're not on the bike. And now we can actually count steps. So it tells you how many steps you took in a day. And like it counts it. Like, okay, you're taking steps. And this also can measure your heart if you got it on your wrist. So this company came out and invented the technology. They had another company come out who basically hijacked all the information that they did, went to phase one first because they had their funding in place. Now Gary knew, I got to get in on this. I got this from my guys. They got the tech. They just don't have the revenue. I'm going to put up the money, which he did. Put up the money, and they wanted to test the product. So they had the Chicago Wrigley Field Run Marathon. So he came back to Chicago. He's really good friends with a lot of people here. So he had a lot of people wear it. A couple of the runners, when they run by like Lake Michigan, they do the blood drive, Chicago blood drive, Chicago, or whatever. So they go ahead and do the run. And they count the steps. It tells them how many steps they took, how many calories they burned, all of these things on a chart. And people were amazed that this technology existed. And someone else tried to take it and patent it. And that's why it wasn't proprietary to just one company. Because actually, this company that came out stole it first. So Fitbit is what you guys know the most, right? Because they're the most popular. But Fitbit wasn't the first one out with it, with the technology. They don't own it. That's why they don't. It's like basically everyone can come out with the same thing if they can. They can't control the patent because they weren't the first ones with it. So this guy who was sleeping in his office, working every day on his app, and was paying him rent because it was too expensive to stay in California. So he just said, I'll pay you the rent, just to stay in the office. It's like 2, 3 guys in there, and they're like 14 hours a day they spend in that office working. And then if not, and anything else, they go to sleep in there. And they wake up and they're back coding and they're coming up, they were working. Now, he has a part of not the one that's Fitbit, but another one. The first one that came out. I don't even remember the name of it. But he made millions. And they weren't even the ones that came out with it. Fitbit was the one that went crazy. They were like one of the first ones out with their product. But Fitbit ended up taking the technology and honing it and making it theirs and just went through the roof over top of the originators. Fitbit, they had a better name than the other two. So he was upset about that he couldn't sue Fitbit. It was a legal practice that's saying, but he what they used as far as technology and everything that they did was totally legal and proprietary towards them, and the rest was history. Gary's still a millionaire. He's moving and shaking. Right now, he's into the private sector of energy. Always hustling. Came from the city of Chicago, hustled up, and now that man travels the world, go anywhere he wants. You only need one idea to work. Oh, that's kind of true. But you don't want your one idea to become a novelty act. Because once your one idea becomes a novelty act, then nobody wants to see it no more. You just phase out. And everyone's looking for that next bright idea. So while everyone is doing that, that's why we all stay sharp in between the years. Gotta stay alert, aware, and always ready to go. Always ready to pounce. Business wise, most of these guys don't think like that. They think protect my own self. Oh, definitely get involved if you feel that that's the case. I mean, it just lets you know that if you just have the drive, the ambition, most people get into something because they want to get rich and make a lot of money, which I'm not saying it's wrong to think like that. It's just that if you don't have a passion or a love for the actual project that you're doing, or where you want it to work or succeed, if you're not doing these things, then it's a moot point. People are like, hey, you do YouTube for the money. If I didn't like doing YouTube, I wouldn't do it. People think I have to do YouTube. I really don't have to do YouTube. I mean, I make good money from it, so it's like, why not do it? But the money isn't the only reason. I did this for 5 years without any money. 5 years, if not more, before I made any money. And then the money I did make wasn't enough. I could barely buy a candy bar or something with that money. And I remember the first month I made $300 off YouTube. I'm like, whoa! I made $300 on YouTube. I can't believe it. And it just went up and up and up and up. And then it stayed there. And then it stayed there. So a lot of people who were following the scenarios, oh, they didn't mind. They were all happy. They could care less. Because other people don't look at their own success. They look at your failures. Anything you do, and if it don't work, you fail at it, they look at that. And they try to throw that back in your face. And they think because they never tried anything or they never attempted to do anything, they won. Like the Easy E used to say, if you do nothing, say nothing, you'll never be nothing. You know, you think when the Wright brothers was trying to fly an airplane and jump off cliffs with some floating wood, with themselves on there risking their own lives to do it, that they didn't have people calling them stupid? Think Howard Hughes and his OCD that he had, that he was stupid, and that many people were going to believe he was stupid? Yeah, he was going to have a lot of those people. And they were going to show up in droves to tell him how stupid he was for trying to fly a plane himself. And he never been tested, flown, or anything. He wanted to try it himself. A lot of people have tried YouTube and they gave up. Because a lot of them get in it for the wrong reason, like I just said. They get in it and they're looking at money. They thinking, I put all this money in the production, I get the microphone, I'll get the app that has the backgrounds, the green screens. They do all that and they forget one key element. The actual content. Once you forget the content, It's over, baby. Hustling don't mean selling drugs. That's only the new age people think like that. They think if they say, I'm a hustler, it's selling drugs. I know a man used to hustle, used to cut people grass. And then he was the barber, the electrician. He had a house cleaning service, the whole nine. He was hustling. To make ends meet. But now people say hustling as if it's a bad word and it's only drug dealers that are hustlers. He tried to hustle me. Broccoli and rice. Broccoli, rice, and potatoes. Mm, can't go wrong. Told you I'm gaining 300 pounds with mom here. I'm more than grateful. Mm, no, I never thought like that. Life always humble. Life will humble you, even if you think it won't. So, anyhow, let me go ahead and finish eating. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow. Don't forget, check out the Patreon tomorrow. If you VIP Patreon, you're gonna love it.